Welcome to Legion Builds, where I guide you on how to bring your favorite characters into Dungeons & Dragons. This video and all my content is made possible by my Patreon supporters, and it's dedicated to everyone who subscribes to my channel. Seriously, every time I get a new subscriber, a new like, or a new comment, I am humbled by you guys, so thank you all so much. Join the Legion today and help decide the next character. It's a Marvel Alien Showdown with Venom versus the Super Skrull. Today we're building the ultimate hunter, the Predator. Predators belong to a species of creatures that place martial prowess, hunting abilities, and honor above everything else. In combat, the Predators use a wide array of weapons and gear, all enhancing their stealth capabilities. I would just like to say I am fighting every urge I have to turn this into a Predator lore video, because they are one of my favorite sci-fi series, right up there with Guyver's. So we're going to move this right along before I end up discussing the different lineages of the Predator race and where their tech comes from, or how there's a real chance the Predators are how real aliens will be if they show up. We should probably stop broadcasting our address to the rest of the galaxy. Just saying. For today's build, we'll be using the Player's Handbook, Xanathar's Guide to Everything, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, and Monsters of the Multiverse. We're using standard point array to make things easy should you roll for stats, or use point buy, and we're multi-classing, so please keep an eye on those minimums. Because when I say multi-classing, I mean 3 different stat minimums. We're going to start things off with intelligence at 15. You have far superior technology to those you hunt, though technically you stole that technology from another race about 10,000 years ago or so, but hey, they started it. Oh, I'm talking about lore. Sorry. Back to D&D. Dex will be dropping in at 14. Stealth and accuracy, that's all I need to say. Wisdom comes in at 13. This is how you will track, and it's a stat minimum. Con flies in with a 12. You're built like a tank and can take just as much damage as one. But you're not going to be a tank in this. Sorry, standard point array kind of sucks. Speaking of sucks, your strength will be a 10. In the movies, you'll be able to bench press a car. But we have to put this 10 someplace. And we're dumping charisma. No one in the galaxy likes you. It may have something to do with your hyper-violent society. Predators are Yautja, a reptilian race of creatures that have been bred and genetically modified by their former alien overlords, and since killing said overlords, kept up the practice pretty well. Lore dump. Anyway, lizard folk found in Monsters of the Multiverse works pretty well. Plays +2 into Dex and +1 into Intelligence. Natural armor gives you an AC of 13 plus Dex when not wearing armor, or when you are wearing armor that isn't as good. Nature's Intuition gives you 2 skills to become a better hunter. Take Survival and Stealth. Hold Breath lets you hold your breath in your 3rd lung for 15 minutes. Do they still have 3 lungs, or has that been retconned? It's really hard to keep track. That may have been from the one novel that made them pretty weird. Bite lets you make an unarmed strike with your teeth, dealing 1d6 plus strength slashing damage. Hungry Jaws lets you make an unarmed strike with a bonus action and give yourself temporary HP equal to your proficiency bonus. You can do this a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. For your background, we need the skills Athletics and Acrobatics. Tech time. Level 1 Artificers, found in Tasha's Cauldron, start off with 2 skills. Grab Perception and Nature. Magical Tinkering lets you enchant non-magical tiny objects with magical effects. These magical effects can include light, sound, smell, or a static image. You can do this a number of times with an action equal to your intelligence modifier at a time. I know it sounds pointless, but it can be pretty tactical if you know how to use it. Spell casting makes you a half caster. Remember that for later. You can prepare a total number of spells equal to your intelligence modifier, plus half your artificer level per long rest. You're starting off with 2 cantrips and 4 spells. For your prepared spells, Firebolt fires a plasma blast out to 120 feet and deals 1d10 fire damage on a hit. Thorn Whip fires a harpoon at a creature within 30 feet, dealing 1d6 piercing damage, and then pulling them 10 feet towards you if they are a size large or smaller. Not really Predator, more Scorpion, but does anyone not think you wouldn't have a harpoon gun? I mean, seriously, how have they never had a harpoon gun in any of the movies? Cure Wounds heals you 1d8 plus your intelligence modifier. Jump triples your jump distance for 1 minute. Long Strider adds +10 to your total movement for 1 hour. Feather Fall stops all fall damage as a reaction no matter the height. Level 2 Artificers gain infused items. This lets you transform non-magical items into full-on good magical items. There's a downside. You will always know double what you can actually use. This allows you to switch magic items after a long rest and keeps you from breaking the game. Over time, you'll learn more infusions and get to use more of them as you level up. You can only add one infusion to a single item. I'm saying that because without that, you might do some crazy stuff. You know 4 at this level and can use 2 for your infusions. Replicate magic item lets you get an arm blade, which is a common magical item. This lets you fuse a blade into a gauntlet, and you can extend it or retract it with a bonus action once it's attuned to you. Check with your DM, as this is normally only for Warforged, but a lot of DMs would allow it for everyone because it's cool. If they allow it, go with a short sword because it fits the narrative and it will use your dex. Except you can't use a short sword yet. I'll fix this soon, I swear. Enhanced weapon adds +1 to a weapon's attack and damage. Place this on your spear or maybe a sword like Greyback from the 1990 movie. When you can take a sword. It's coming, trust me. Return weapon adds +1 to a weapon's attack and damage when it has the thrown weapon property. After attuning to this weapon, you can throw it as a ranged attack and it will return to your hand. You can learn one more infusion, have fun choosing. There's a lot of good ones, like Homunculus Servant, which will give you a tiny construct that can fly around and spy for you, like Falconer from the 2010 movie. Or how about Enhanced Defense for a +1 shield that will become a +2 shield at the end of this build, like Feral from the 2022 movie. You can also dump returning weapon for repeating weapon and grab a hand crossbow, which Feral had as well. By the way, any item that you have an infusion on is now a spellcasting focus for your Artificer spells. Now, if you want to use a shield as a weapon, talk to your DM, as I can't give that to you. Cobalt Press has a shield weapon, but you know what? Who cares? You're a damn Artificer. Load up on tool proficiencies and start making awesome gear. Level 3 Artificers now have their subclass, and you should know where this is going. Artillerist, also found in Tasha's, gives you a plasma caster. Eldritch Cannon creates a cannon that is either tiny, which can be held, or small, which can be the size of the BFG from Doom. This cannon can have feet and move with you if you want it to. This can't be on your shoulder, but at this point you have several tool proficiencies and a +4 intelligence. I'm pretty sure your DM should be okay with you crafting a holder of some kind. I would. This cannon can do one of 3 things when you create it. It can grant temporary HP, be a flamethrower, or shoot a big blast. Guess which one I'm suggesting. Force Ballista fires a ranged spell attack as a bonus action out to 120 feet and deals 2d8 force damage on a hit, and pushes the target back by 5 feet. Artillerist spells grant you new spells at certain levels that you always have prepared. For your spells, Shield adds +5 to your AC as a reaction and stops magic missile. Do predators still use force fields on themselves? They did in that one novel, but that might no longer be canon, which is too bad because it was a good novel. Thunder Wave lets you hit the ground with such force you send out a shockwave out in a 15-foot cube centered around you, and forcing a con save on everyone within the cube. Everyone who fails takes 2d8 thunder damage and is pushed back 10 feet. Level 4 Artificers earn our first ability score improvement. Place this into intelligence for more spells, spell attack, and DC. Right tool for the job lets you magically create a tool after 1 hour. Yeah, it's a weird one. Who cares? For your new spells, Snare creates a magical trap. Placing a rope on the ground in the shape of a 5-foot radius circle, the rope turns invisible. Should any creature step into the circle that is a size small or large, they must now make a dex save or be pulled 3 feet above the ground and hang upside down. At the end of their turn, they must make a dex save at disadvantage to end the trap, or must be pulled down by another creature who passes an Arcana check against the DC. You get one more spell, but you want to wait, trust me. Level 5 Artillerist Artificers gain Arcane Firearm. You can now turn a rod, wand, or staff into an arcane focus for you, and each time you use it to cast a spell that deals damage with it, you can add a d8 to the damage. For your new Artillerist spells, Scorching Ray fires 3 plasma bursts out to 120 feet. Each burst can target the same creature or a different creature. When each plasma burst hits, they deal 2d6 fire damage. Shatter fires a blast out to 60 feet from you and explodes into a 10-foot radius sphere, forcing a con save on every creature in the sphere. Should they fail, they take 3d8 thunder damage. You also gain access to second level spells. For your new spell, invisibility turns you invisible for 1 hour while you maintain the spell. This ends early if you attack or cast another spell. Your character level 5 now. Firebolt now does 2d10 fire damage, and Thorn Whip does 2d6 piercing damage. Okay, you got the tech, not really a lot of stealth. Let's work on that. Level 1 Rangers start off with another skill when they are multi-classed into. Take Investigation. Also, you can now use any martial weapon. Deft Explorer grants you several features as you level up in Ranger, starting with Canny. You can now double the proficiency bonus to one skill you have. Place this into Stealth. Favored Foe lets you mark a creature you hit, and now you will deal an extra 1d4 damage for 1 minute while you maintain this like a spell. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. Level 2 Rangers receive a fighting style. Dueling adds +2 to damage you deal with a weapon in one hand or on your wrist and holding no other weapon. Spell casting makes you a half caster. And this is where I need you to remember Artificer is also a half caster. Head on over to page 164 of the player's handbook and calculate how many spell slots you get. You're going to start off with 2 first level spells. For your spells, Alarm creates a sensor in the form of an invisible 20-foot cube. Anyone who you do not designate passes through the cube, you are automatically alerted to it, as long as you're within 1 mile of it. Hunter's Mark is a targeting system that lets you choose a creature within 90 feet. With a bonus action, they are now marked, and you can deal an extra 1d6 damage and will have advantage on perception and survival checks to find them. If the creature dies before the spell ends, you can transfer the mark to another creature with a bonus action. Level 3 Rangers now have their subclass, and it's time to become a real killer. Gloomstalker, found in Xanathars, makes you a stealthy bastard. Dread Ambusher allows you to add your wisdom modifier to your initiative rolls alongside your dex. Also, at the start of combat, your walking speed is increased by 10 feet until the end of your next turn. And if you take the attack action on your first turn, you gain 1 more special attack as part of the same action. If this special attack hits, it gains an extra d8 of damage. Umbral Sight grants you 60 feet of dark vision and gives you the ability to hide from others with dark vision. Now when in darkness, you are completely invisible to all creatures that use dark vision to see in darkness. This of course is negated if the creature uses True Sight, Blind Sight, or Devil's Sight. Gloomstalker magic gives you more spells at certain levels of Ranger. For your Gloomstalker magic, Disguise Self lets you make yourself appear different for 1 hour. This is an illusion, so it will not hold up to inspection. You'll rely on invisibility and Umbral Sight more than this. For your new spell, take what you want. We don't need any more Ranger spells at this level. Wait, what if you want to play Falconer or Tracker from the 2010 movie? Replace Gloomstalker with Beastmaster. This will allow you a beast companion that you can communicate with and spy on your prey. Land Beast for Tracker, Sky Beast for Falconer. I know I've already given you an idea for making Falconer, but Homunculus Servant takes up an infusion and maybe you don't want to do that. Technically, Ultimate also had a beast, but gods, I hate the 2018 movie. Too MCU, not enough spine ripping. Level 4 Rangers earn another ability score improvement. Place this into Dex for better stealth, attack, damage, and AC. Level 5 Rangers receive extra attack. You can now attack twice with a single attack action. You now have second level spells. For your Gloomstalker spell, Rope Trick creates a hideout where you can get the drop on people. Touching a 60-foot long rope, the rope raises up by itself, and at the top is an invisible space that can hold up to 8 medium creatures that has a 3x5 entryway. This lasts for 1 hour and you can see out of it, but no one can see in once you pull the rope up. For your new spell, Pass Without a Trace adds +10 to your stealth checks and the stealth checks of anyone within 30 feet of you that you wish to give this to for 1 hour while you maintain the spell. You will also leave no tracks as you move while this spell is active. Level 6 Artificers now have tool expertise. Now when you use a tool you are proficient with, you can double the proficiency bonus to it. Seriously, with this, making a harness for your cannon or spring-loaded wrist blades should be a snap. You also now have 3 infusions active at once, and you get a new one, so have fun choosing. For your new spell, See Invisibility allows you to see invisible creatures and into the ethereal plane for 1 hour. Your character level 11 now. Firebolt now does 3d10 fire damage, and Thorn Whip does 3d6 piercing damage. Level 7 Artificers gain Flash of Genius. Now when you or another creature within 30 feet of you that you can see make a skill check, you can add your intelligence modifier to the check as a reaction. This will include checks that are already adding your intelligence to it. But more importantly, stealth checks are going to be insane for you. You can do this a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier per long rest. Level 8 Artificers earn another ability score improvement to cap off intelligence. For your new spell, Blur places a field around you to distort your image for 1 minute while you maintain this spell. While the field is up, all attacks against you are at disadvantage. This of course doesn't work against enemies that have true sight or blind sight. You also get a second spell, Take What You Want. Level 9 Artillerist Artificers receive an upgrade to their Eldritch Cannon, Explosive Cannon. Now the damage from your plasma caster is 3d8 force damage, and as an action you can detonate the cannon. Each creature within 20 feet of it when it blows must make a dex save or take 3d8 force damage. You also now have 3rd level spells. For your artillerist spells, Fireball causes a massive explosion out to 150 feet. Everyone within a 20-foot radius must make a dex save or take 8d6 fire damage. Wind Wall doesn't make sense for you, but who cares, you get it anyway. For 1 minute while you maintain the spell, you create a wall of wind. The wall can be 50 feet long, 15 feet high, and 1 foot thick, and any creature in the area when the wall appears must make a strength save or take 3d8 bludgeoning damage. While this wall is up, small or smaller flying creatures can't pass through the wall, and projectiles like arrows and bolts just stop. Level 10 Artificers now have Magic Item Adept. You can now attune up to 4 magic items, and you can craft real magic items in a quarter of the time and half the price. You also now have 4 infusions active and can now grab one you want. For that infusion, Helm of Awareness grants you advantage on initiative rolls when you are attuned to the helm. You also can't be surprised if you are not incapacitated. Also, Enhanced Defense and Enhanced Weapon are now +2 if you took them. For your new spell, Haste gives you a major rage-induced adrenaline rush. For 1 minute while you maintain this spell, your speed is doubled, you gain +2 to AC, you have advantage on dex saves, and you gain a single weapon attack. When the spell ends, you have an adrenaline crash and can't move or take actions until after your next turn. You also get another cantrip, Have Fun. There's a lot of good ones for Artificer. Level 11 Artificers gain Spell Storing Item. After you finish a long rest, you can now store a spell of 1st or 2nd level that has a casting time of 1 action within a weapon or spellcasting focus. While someone holds that object, the spell can be cast a number of times equal to twice your intelligence modifier. Level 12 Artificers earn another ability score improvement to cap off dex. For your final Artificer spell, Take What You Want. Seriously, have some fun with this. Your character level 17 now. Firebolt does 4d10 fire damage, and Thorn Whip does 4d6 piercing damage. Level 6 Rangers receive another feature from Deft Explorer. Roving increases your walking speed by 5 feet, and you gain a climbing and swimming speed. Your favorite foe now does 1d6 extra damage. Level 7 Gloomstalker Rangers now have Iron Mind. You are now proficient in Wisdom saves. For your final Ranger spell, Take What You Want. You can really customize this build on how you feel, or just what Predator movie you want to emulate. Our final level is level 8 Ranger, and you earn our final ability score improvement, Bump Up Con, for more health and concentration. Now that we've hit level 20, let's recap. Your stats are Strength 10, Dex 20, Con 14, Intelligence 20, Wisdom 13, Charisma 8. Your total levels are Artificer 12, Ranger 8. Let's dive in. You are the ultimate hunter. Your stealth rolls are +17, +22 with Flash of Genius, and +32 with Pass Without a Trace. You're also invisible in darkness or whenever you feel like it. Even if you're not invisible, you can cause disadvantage on attacks by simply becoming a shimmer. Now let's talk about combat. Your initiative is at +6 at advantage, and you can't be surprised, which goes well with the fact that you not only see in darkness, but also any creature near you. All your attacks are magical, and you can add bonus damage, and your Artificer range is amazing, with the most basic ranged attack dealing 4d10 fire damage out to 120 feet. On top of that, you can cast one first or second level spell like Scorching Ray up to 10 times without a spell slot. You can cast multiple explosions that can add a d8 to the damage. Finally, this build is highly adaptable and customizable. As I've already stated, switch out Gloomstalker for Beastmaster for a hunting dog like Tracker, or Hunter to get more damage and turning you into the jungle or urban hunter, or maybe become a monster slayer like Wolf. Speaking of Wolf, you can drop 3 levels of Ranger for 2 Plasma Casters and another Infusion. Hell, if the DM doesn't allow arm blades because of the Warforge requirement, guess what? Taking those 3 levels in Artificer will allow you to take an arm blade regardless of what the DM says. You can also change or take spells that gives you more options and capabilities. If you free up stat improvements, feats like Tough and Stalker take it to a whole new level. Downside. Biggest downside is your health. Taking the average, you're only coming in at around 150. Finally, you have a lot of concentration spells, which is over half the casters out there. Worst downside in my opinion though is the low strength and health, which can be made better by rolling for stats. In the end, the adaptability of this build is the most amazing thing about it. Changing it up creates a completely different predator for you to use, so stalk your prey from the shadows and claim your prize and honor. Thank you for joining me today. Make sure to like and subscribe to not miss a single new build each week on YouTube and Spotify. Make sure to check out my Patreon where you can help decide next week's new character.